Hey guys, this is Sam the Community Gardener. So today, if you were, I'm going to repot some of my cuttings, but if you were with me last week when I did a video on cutting back my jade plants, I had some really beautiful jade plants that I moved them. I repotted them first. It was a one large jade plant, and I repotted it and made it into two plants. And I put it inside the house because it was cold and it was cold outside and nothing like it is today. But when I put it inside the house as two plants, it started to lose. First, it started to grow very leggy and long, where there's a lot of space between the leaves. And of course, I know that that is a sign of lack of sunshine. So what I did last week, I took those two jade plants and I cut them all the way back down to where they look like little small trees. No leaves, no greenery on them at all. So what I cut these cuttings from them. These are some of the cuttings that I cut from them. And of course, if you know anything about jade plants, it's quite easy to propagate them by using some of these cuttings. I cut them last week and I allowed them to what they call callus over, so that the areas here where I cut them from, it calloused over, kind of like when you have a sore and it gets a callus so it doesn't get any type of infection and that kind of thing. Well, now they've all calloused over and I got quite a few of them here. And what we're going to do today is we're going to place these in this nice long, it should hold all of them, this nice long tray here. It's made out of plastic. I think I bought it for like $4 or $5 or so from Lowe's some time ago. And I haven't been using it, so I'm planning to use it today. And what I'm going to do is also, when you're dealing with succulents, as a jade is a succulent, when you're dealing with succulents, you need to be sure that you are using the right medium or the right type of soil, if you will. So today, what we're going to use is this, it's called a citrus palm mix, potting mix. It is good for all types of succulents and cacti and things of that nature. Anything that has a really thick leaf that holds water in them, it's pretty good for those. So we're going to fill this tray up with this mix, and what we're going to do is we're going to, let's see if we can get started now. I'll just try and open this up and let you see exactly what we're doing here. You know, let me just slide these out of the way, and I'm going to move this in front of me. And what I want to do is I'm going to take a handful of it out so you can kind of get a look at how it actually looks. It's very fine, and I think I'm going to probably put some perlite in with this so that I can be sure that it's going to be well draining. Now, potting mix that's for succulents, usually it's already well draining, and I'm seeing where there is a small amount of perlite already in it. I think I'm just going to add some more. And of course, when we're doing this, we're not going to water this until I'm going to just tear this on open and see if I can't pour it in here much faster. Here we go. So we'll just fill this tray in, and then I'm going to basically stick those cuttings in the soil. I may as well use most of this or all of it anyway. And of course I can always use it again, because let me just get it in here. It may be enough. It's yeah, it's pretty much full. Now, I said I wanted to add a little perlite in it, so bear with me one second. I'm going to get up and grab my perlite. And I know that many of you have seen perlite. I'll show you how it looks. It's I'll just take a couple of handfuls of it. See, it's very granulated. You see that? White granules. I'm not really sure what perlite is made of, but many of the plants you buy in the store these days, to ensure that that they drain well, they've added perlite or some other type of medium that causes them to drain better. So we'll just add that in, and then I'm going to take my hand and I'll mix it in pretty good. I just want to make sure that it's well draining. And like I said, this is not going to be a permanent home for these cuttings. It'll just be a home for them. And I'm not going to even water them today. I won't water these cuttings until they start to develop some small roots on the end, on the bottoms there. In the meantime, okay, that should be fine there. I may want to put a little more perlite in here just to make sure that the water is well draining. I'll just pour some in because I really don't want them to get, most of these succulents, they really don't like wet roots. And one of the quickest ways to kill a succulent plant is to give it too much water or have it setting in too much water, because it will, since they retain so much water, they will really develop what's called root rot pretty fast. So we don't want that to happen. We want to develop a number of these succulents, these jade plants, and we can maybe give them to family and friends for gifts during the holidays, or just anytime really. I mean, if you got friends and family that you care about. I know I give my children plants all the time. They know I'm a plants guy and they buy me plants. So let's kind of get started. So really, all I'm going to do here is just take this little pencil here, and I'm going to make a little hole right here, and I'll stick this one down in it. You know, I'm going to stick it down in there far enough, and so that it will stay standing. I'm going to do this one the same way. I'm going to take a pencil and just make a hole big enough, deep enough to stick it down in there. And like I said, I'm not going to water these now. I want to wait until they start to develop some roots before I start to water them. And this is a very simple process, and succulents are some of the easiest plants to propagate, because these will become, each one of these will become a full plant that it'll start to develop its own root system. It'll start to grow its own leaves. And I'm hopeful that these will start growing here. I mean, it's March the 6th here today, March the 6th. And we've already had some 80-degree weather. As a matter of fact, it should get close to 80 today, and this is just March the 6th. So we're very blessed in that I could probably, I'm not going to leave them outside just yet, because we still have some cool nights. And I mean, as long as it doesn't get below 60 maybe, I can leave these outside. And like last night, I think when I got up this morning, it was already 58 degrees. And so we're propagating now our jade plant. The mother plant is inside now. I didn't trust it being outside just yet, simply because it is still getting a little cool. And like I said, each one of these will grow into a plant of its own, and we can share these with family and friends and give them as gifts or whatever. And we like to do that. This is a wonderful idea. If you have a jade plant and you want to create some new plants, this is one of the easy ways to do it. And it's not going to hurt the mother plant to cut it back. I cut all the leaves off, and I cut most of the legginess off of my plant, so that I could do this. And hopefully cutting these leaves and stems off of the mother plant actually will promote growth and more leaves on the mother plant. These here, we're just gonna see what these do, and I know that they will. I've done this too many times from leaves and other plants, so they will certainly develop into their own plants, you know, and we'll be very, very happy. So guys, if you can see this, I'm going to lean it forward a little bit. If you can see these are going to become plants on their own, and I'll probably put each one of them into a small pot after it develops its root system. So today, guys, I'm Sam, the community gardener. I want to thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you next time in the garden. Take care now.